I'm having this opportunity to sit down with English teacher Di Hine and special ed teacher Stacy Johnson, who are both involved in our ACRI program here at the high school. It is new this year. It's an opportunity for us to meet kids where they're at right now in their learning. So what I want to do is just invite a question out to you. Tell us a little bit first about the training that you both were involved in to prepare to teach the students in the ACRI program.
Well, the training we had to go to was a whole week long and then some extra days, but it was in the summer, so it was 5 days, very full days.
Long days.
Long days. The first few days we were trying to figure out what the program was and how it was going to benefit students. It was super frustrating to learn the program. There were very emotional times in the training, like where you're frustrated because you don't understand what you're supposed to be doing.
I think because too it's so fragmented at the beginning and you're learning this piece and that piece, plus you're being challenged even at our level when you think it's going to be easier, and it wasn't easy for me at all. We did the training separately, but then by end of the day, Thursday, Friday, all the pieces come together and you have that aha, like okay, I get it. But the first couple days, I think we feel kind of the same frustration that the kids do, just because we had to learn the program also.
I think it's a good representation of what students that struggle with reading go through. Like you kind of are like, yeah, right, this doesn't apply to me, and then you get really frustrated because you don't understand, and then by the end, you're like, oh, this is super helpful. And I think that that's what students go through with the training also.
Which I think is the part I liked about the training is it actually took you through the same ups and downs as I think the kids have felt this year in the program.
Thanks for that. Stacy, you've been involved with it for a year, and Di, we just got our first 9 weeks in. Tell me a little bit about the successes that you've experienced with this program.
I think for me, I know Stacy, you can speak long term. For me, just short term, I've seen a huge increase in their confidence. The first couple even weeks, nobody contributed. I was calling on people. I was the one kind of probing and asking, and I felt like I was constantly kind of digging to get inside. Now they're volunteering more readily to the point where I've kind of had to go, okay, wait, we got to talk one at a time. I promise we'll get to everybody, which was not the case at the beginning. So just that alone, I know they're feeling much more comfortable about their answers. And I think the community too, we have to work really hard to build a community since there's just a few students in there. So I think it's kind of both their confidence coupled with their comfort level with the other students in the community we've built. It's given them an opportunity to actually focus on what they need to, which is enhancing their comprehension and their, decoding skills.
And I would say for me, long term, those things are totally what the students went through. The confidence, but then to have the kids come back and ask, like, can I get back in that class? I learned so much. That was, like, this year was super exciting when the students came back, because at the beginning they weren't excited about being in there in this small class and being pinpointed to increase their reading. So for them to come back and ask to be back in there because it was beneficial, I think is huge. Towards the end of the year last year, when students were being able to use the text structure in other classes, in their science class or history class, to decipher what the text was asking them, was a huge success in our class. So
Thank you.
I think for me also too, at the beginning I had the same, I wouldn't call it a struggle, but the same situation where kids, I mean, anytime you're pulled out for an intervention, they're like, why am I in here? I don't really need this. And now, even after 9 weeks, they know that they're going to leave at the end of the semester, and they're trying to scam their way in. What can I do to stay? I promise, I'll pretend like I don't know what the answers are. And so obviously they're benefiting because they still want to be a part of it, even after their time is over to leave.
Thank you. When you think about new programs, there's always kind of bumps in the road, obstacles and challenges. What have you seen, or do you see, as challenges with the ACRI program?
I think because it's new to the high school to have an intervention like this, like that kids aren't used to that, so that's goes back to the kids buying into the program and understanding why they're there and what benefits are going to come. So I would say that is a big barrier when you first start the class, because at the high school we haven't had those situations for kids or those classes, so they don't understand the benefits of it. So I'd say that's one big obstacle.
I think too, the numbers have to be small in there just in order to, you couldn't do it with a class of 20 or 30 kids. You couldn't even scratch the surface. So the numbers, I think sometimes, anytime in a school, are a barrier just because it has to be small in order for the program to be effective. I think also too, maybe just kind of goes back to what I said before, kind of the stigma of that they're in that program and wondering why, but that's a challenge that presents itself at the beginning, but like I said, already within the first 9 weeks, but really probably the first 6 weeks, that goes away. All right, we're here today, we're going to ask you guys some questions about the ACRI class, or here at the high school we call it text analysis. We've got a good mix of people, as far as some of you are from my class and are currently in the program, and then some of you are from Mrs. Johnson's room from last year, and you guys have exited the program. So we've got some present students and some past students, which is good for the questions I'm going to ask. First question, what are your challenges in a text analysis class? Yes, Scotty?
One of my challenges were finding the text structure to use.
Yeah.
Extending our thinking.
Trying to find the claim.
Yeah, claim is tough.
Presenting and comprehension.
Good.
Good answers.
Okay, so if we now move on to what were some of the successes you've experienced or that you're having right now?
Inferencing.
Yep.
Finding the best, what's it called?
Texture.
Yeah, texture.
Do you feel like you're better at that now than you were at the beginning?
Yeah.
For sure.
How about, do any of you, did you know what a text structure was before you came to the class?
Yes.
No. Yeah. Some of you might have known, okay, but now you know that everything you read has a text structure to it, right?
Yes.
Good. What was the success you had?
I'm able to map the book a lot better on my own.
Yeah.
We did that for the first time last week. The kids, you guys did it, the students on their own, which was awesome because up until that point, we've been doing it together and you guys did a great job on your own.
Success in my reading. I'm reading another one up a lot.
Yeah, good. That's really good to know.
Okay, how do you think the class will benefit you in other classes or in the future? I know Mrs. Johnson, you guys have already kind of gotten to put this question into play, but my students, how do you think it'll benefit you, or how has it?
It helped my writing.
Definitely have seen that. Yeah.
You could read something and actually understand what they're just trying to tell you.
Good. Actually makes sense now.
How am I presenting? I was afraid to present for people.
Good.
I wasn't afraid, I was nervous.
It's nervous.
Yeah.
Good.
How many of you just think you're more confident readers just because you have some skills to apply? Good.
Anything else you'd like to add about the class?
Tell you working,
Say it again?
working on time,
Yeah, good,
study.
good. Any
Stary is a reading program that provides lessons that teaches students reading comprehension, reading decoding, fluency, vocabulary, all embedded in the lessons. And these skills students are able to use not only in English class, but in all of their classes.
One of the things that I like about the Stary program is how it allows us time to help students understand their comprehension by breaking it down into the smallest parts and checking that they have the main ideas from major sections of our reading before we go on and apply it to our next section. Lots of reading programs, or the way that our other classes are arranged, we assume they have that comprehension and continue moving on from there. This gives us a chance to really get down to the smallest parts, break it apart into its pieces, analyze those pieces, and then put them back together.
Okay, this is Charlie Mollett, English teacher at Reese Puffer High School. Charlie, what is it about the Stary program that you think helps students become better readers?
I think that one of the things I really like is it starts off with the fluency component. It lets me know where my kids are at coming in before we even get to the fast bridge section. What I enjoy about that is then I can supplement with like mini lessons or things like that to help them based on what I know they're struggling with or not struggling with. Another part I like is that it focuses on analysis and questioning during analysis. So asking right there and think and search questions, so getting to higher level thinking skills while they're going through a text.
This is Jamie Kitchen. She is a student in Miss Burson's class, and she has had 2 years in the Stary program. So, Jamie, could you talk to me about what you like about the Stary program?
What I like about Stary is that it helps me understand what I'm reading about, and it also helps you to know how to read. If you're reading too fast or too slow, it helps you to find what is most comfortable for you and for kids to understand you.
This year in English 10 Stary is really beneficial because you learn more about what you did last year. So like you do projects that will increase your knowledge of like grammar and reading. So one beneficial is like time-wise, like you get more time to like understand and process things, and it's like really beneficial.